Hello.
Even my car, which is a Tesla, is on solar technology.
Gonna be building
I buy something. I think, okay, is it an investment
this
in my cost now? If it is,
once
I buy
again.
it. If it isn't, I don't.
Set 7346 Lego creator set.
So for example,
Awesome
you might
set.
say, I need to hire someone to help me do the app. We'll do what I did.
And we're gonna finish it off, I think.
Make them an equity
All of
in
it.
the company. Get your costs down. Now some people say, well, developers won't do it unless you pay them money. Well, your idea isn't exciting them enough. It doesn't have what I just told you, community or purpose. You don't have the people that care about that purpose.
Find the page I'm on.
You've not spoken to the right people. Every single thing that makes a business work starts when you start a business. If you get it wrong at the beginning, it's like the foundation of a house. It'll all crash. It's actually really good to test whether people care about the purpose they're about to step into. If you just hire someone and pay them money, they'll come and work. If you tell them they have to invest in the business or they have to be an equity shareholder in the business to actually be a part of it, you'll find out whether they really care about it or not. And then you'll have a team, an army that actually cares about what you care about, not just a bunch of people paid because you did that, gave them what they needed. That's it. Again, I've applied these principles. These aren't things I'm telling you to do and not doing myself. I built 30 million companies in a year. I've done it before. I'm not getting your cost down. Maybe you've got an expensive job. Maybe you've got an expensive job. At the end of the day, you're not do not buy shit you don't need. I sometimes say that I was lucky that I got kicked out of it taught me how low cost wise you can live. And of course, I can't sign up some BT internet thing and some Netflix shit. All of this stuff does drag you down. But I know what I'm saying to you is not easy. That's the point. It's really hard thing now, life will get easier over time. It's easy to know life will get harder over time. Yes, live with your parents. I would have had to go. I do. I lived in my office and my office was on bar. Get your costs down in every regard. I've got the money today to fully fund but I still act. My team, who are all listening now, will tell you, I spend every single day talking about how to manage our costs. Even though we could spend a lot of money, I've got the money in the bank to do it. I still don't do it. I still don't do it because I know how dangerous it is to think you've got a lot of money, you waste a lot of money, and you don't hustle. I know that's become a negative word, but it shouldn't. I think it's healthy to hustle when you're young. If you don't have kids, yes, live on a sofa. If you don't have kids, yes, travel where the opportunity is. At the end of the day, if you're at that stage in life where you don't have huge responsibilities for others, it's the time to get your cost down. And even if you are married and you've got kids, the kids will do what you do, not what you say. So make sure you're doing something you love because they will see you doing something you don't love, spending lots of money to try and make up for it, and they'll copy you later. The second step on the road to making money from your idea.
Oh, that's right.
From your idea. So when I first started Fluid, one of the things that was really fascinating to me in that business was I initially worked for someone for free. Now, a lot of people tell you don't do free work because people don't value it. It wasn't true in my case. In fact, this particular client ended up being my client for 16 years, recommending me probably to hundreds of people. And for 16 years after I did the free bit of work for them, they gave me business every month. So I'm not saying you should do anything for free. But what I am saying is have this mindset. Your idea initially doesn't need to make money. Make no money. Now bear with me for a second as I try to explain this. I told you this isn't easy to explain. When you're building a business, most people have a service and you think, I know, I'll charge for that service and I'll make money. But what if you give that service away? Let me give you an example of something I did recently. Someone I know clean some windows and make some money. You can clean people's swimming pools and make some money. Maybe the people in your swimming pools you're cleaning are actually the people who invest in your business, and you found a way into investors by cleaning their swimming pool. I know it sounds crazy. This is literally how you rewire your brain to realise no matter what, you're going to make this business work. And maybe just learn this concept. You have to make money from this. You can make money elsewhere. Service businesses are doing this. Because service businesses you can charge, for example, copywriting, charge 50% in advance, and then pay petrol eventually. But right now, there's a lot of things that you can do to get your business up and out. There's a lot of ways you can get people into your business without there being huge costs. And making no money from your idea is a pretty interesting concept that I want to teach you. Next, what I will do, and I touched on this a little bit a minute ago, but one of the things I discovered is when hiring people, sometimes the best thing you can do is get them to invest in the business with you. So Callum, who helps me with the videos, he invested in Comeback. He's become a very rich man because he's done that, but he invested in it when it wasn't worth anything. Because at the end of the day, I knew he was talented, and I knew I could have paid him full whack, but I wanted to see if he cared about the purpose as much as I do. See if he actually wants to fix the education system and help people break free from modern day slavery and not doing what they love. Does he really care about that? And you know what? He always puts into the business. And he put all of his time into the business. Now, he does get a small salary, but I'm telling you right now, he's earning a lot more than he does when he first started working with me. And I want you to understand this step that you can take. The people that come in your company can invest in it. And that can be your road to making money in your business, because if they invest, it gives you a runway, right? And get your team to invest. I now have 12 people helping me full time with this content and helping. 12 people, all of them, in some way, have invested to show they care about their people, to show that they actually are committed to the process, but also for me to give them something back. Equity in the business, the only thing I think that actually has any value, because a salary is a drug. It's not value. It's not real value.
I love these instruction booklets, how old they look.
Sell time. The only way to scale is buy time, not sell time. And in my opinion, the best way to do that is from equity where you work. So it's a transaction between the two of us to validate the partnership as well. Number 4. Now, a bit later in the video, I'm going to get into talking about, like I said earlier, the board, NDAs, legal contracts, and structure. This is important fact. I'm going to get into it. I know a lot of you will get bored with this, so I put it at the end. But I think that this point is, in a way, touching on that. When you're trying to make a company work, what you've got to understand is it's not a one-person army that makes a company. Right? What you've got to think about is look at your competitors and think to yourself, can I work with them? I know it sounds crazy. It's counterintuitive to everything you've probably been taught. But it's absolutely fucking true that nearly all of the businesses that I've made work, at some point, I ended up partnering with my competitor. So at Fluid, my competitor was Ogilvy and Leo Bidet. Ogilvy actually asked me to take what they had as a conflict client off their hands. In other words, they had a client who couldn't handle, and they passed it to me. And the only reason they passed it to me was because I made a relationship with the CEO. I became friends with them. I didn't see them as competitors. I saw them as comrades. Everybody else saw them as competitors. It's a mistake to think that way, especially if they told me that it's problem. Elon Musk, when he built Twitter, and he started a business that was exactly the same as PayPal. But he looked at what Reid Hoffman and Peter Thiel and the PayPal mafia were doing at PayPal, and he joined them. He closed down his company, and he joined them. Because 1 plus 1 equals 2. I've seen this other video, and I know I've heard it before from you, but because psychopaths, a fundamental thing that no business school teaches, and no entrepreneurs need to share, it's so crucial to us. And I want you to know it's important to yours too. If you want to make a business work, you're going to be shocked to find out that your competitors are probably the company to unlock it. When I sold Fluid to PricewaterhouseCoopers, their opening negotiation with me was they're going to do what Fluid's going to do. So either buy us or sue us. Now that's a scary intro to a potential partnership, right? But the truth is, it's better for them to partner with us because they remove a competitor from the market. And it's better for us to partner with them because, one, I personally made a lot of money out of it, which is one definitely good reason to partner up. But the other reason is they had global offices. At that time, I only had 3 offices. They have 50. So they can expand it in a way that we can't. But we have the case studies and the history. It will take them years to get up to the same standard that we were at in that particular sector, right? So they're a world-class company in their field, but in a might think you have to go and open up an office and set it all up and then pitch to the client. The truth is, you can expand with a client. I don't think people think about this enough. If your client is your partner, if you're doing a good job for your clients, whoever
What is it,
they
either
are,
2 or 4? I can't
now,
even
this can
remember.
be a community that funds your expansion, or this can be an individual brand or partner. But people don't know this. I just literally interviewed someone who's done 4 years business school, and they don't know this concept, right?
Doesn't really tell me, does it?
Your client, to most people, sounds dangerous, and there is one pitfall to it. If, for example, you're a software development agency and
It's got to be a 2.
and you get one client as your investor or your partner, other banks might be pissed off, right? So you have got to be careful. I've been careful. You can have specific partnerships that mean, yes, the bank can have 6 months exclusive if they invest in you. That's perfectly normal. I have had arrangements with partners in the past where they are my exclusive partner for 6 months because they invested in me to open up in another market. That's what you can leverage, right? Why not? They're going to fund your opening of an office. Why not be exclusive to them for 6 months? It's not a big deal. Just put those restrictions in. Now, I'm going to talk about some legal stuff in a minute because you are going to need to know that stuff to make all of this work. The final thing I'm going to say is on the road to making money. The road to making money requires you to say no. Too many people, especially when they're building a business, will accept what you need to do is learn to say no, but in a polite way. There's a couple of ways to say no and be sure that you should be saying no. First is set very clear payment terms. Most businesses fail because of cash flow problems, not because of sales problems.
Well, that fell apart really easily.
Get decent terms. Now, initially, when you're hearing this, if you're a new business, you might be like, well, that client dictates the payment terms. No. You dictate payment terms. Be strong. I'd rather you stay small with a proper cash flow business that isn't going to get in trouble than too big and have cash flow problems. Growth rate. Rather than just stay down, right? Build cash flow business. You have to pay them in tight credit terms. For example, no more than 15 days and a 50% deposit on the private payment agreement. But also saying no in everything I've mentioned here. No to the wrong bank. No to the wrong partner. No to the wrong time. Saying no is one of the most important skills you can learn in business. Because when you're building something and you're watching this video because you want to build something or you're trying to build something, we all will say yes to try and make it work. The hardest thing is to say no. Learn to say no. Make sure you shut out the people who could eventually destroy your business. I have a really good friend who's built an incredible business. He's got the wrong investor in. He's an investor that no one else likes.
I don't feel like these two go in. I feel like it's one of
Not
them.
get involved in this company. He brought the wrong investors on board, and it fucking annoys me because I should have told him. Like I'm telling you, don't get the wrong people involved in your business. Say no, especially in the beginning. It's the foundation of your business. If you say yes to the wrong person, it will all get fucked up. Next up, a subject I like: selling a company and raising money. Now, I have tried to talk about raising money before, and I have been criticised for not giving enough detail. It's a completely complicated subject, but I'm going to try and help you get the basics and go as deep as I can without losing you. So, ironically, raising money and selling a company are really interlinked, okay? So, selling and raising. I'm going to put these two things in 2 separate categories for you, but they're linked. So I want you to put them together. Right? To sell a company, what's the number 1 rule to sell a company? The number 1 rule is do not want to sell your company to sell a company. If you build a business you love, then you'll negotiate better. You want to sell to price for the you need to sell to price for the I was in a negotiating position I wanted to be in. I wasn't even running it when they came and offered to buy it, which is even better.
Starting to look really nice now, the shape of the roof.
I'm getting paid from that business every month, and I was leveraging it. The investments.
These instructions you can't really see
So don't want to sell
where certain pieces are going, but
if you start off a business, based on the
we
business
should
I
be
told you
good.
earlier, you should
Hello
want to
there,
sell
buddy.
anyway, and that's when you'll get offered the most amount of money for it. Don't want to. But I am going to teach you how to do it. But I want you to get in the right frame of mind. Right? Don't want to sell it. Number 1 on raising money. If you want to raise money, don't ask people for money. Don't ask for money. The golden rule is don't ask for money, ask for advice. your due diligence on people. Again, like I said earlier about saying no. Make sure you're asking the right people to get involved in your business. Make sure you've made that list of questions I told you earlier, and you're asking people the questions you need
Yeah,
to
they're
ask
sick, aren't they?
to make sure that the right person
Awesome.
is you. When it comes to raising money, the biggest mistake people make is getting the wrong investors on board.
It's so colourful.
It's human psychology.
Same with the box as well.
For money, their default
Box is
get
really
what they give you.
awesome.
It's just human instinct. But equally, if you
I got
ask
this for
someone
20 quid
advice,
yesterday.
and they listen, and they like you, they feel listened to, that you're able to learn, which is an important reason people invest in business. It's the reason I invest in businesses.
Like 2013, I think.
Will adapt and learn, right? You don't want to work with people who are stubborn. You don't want to work with people who won't absorb my knowledge. What's the point of me having all this business knowledge and just giving you knowledge? I don't feel like I'm business knowledge, but I've got loads of advantage, right? So you need to make the person feel like the investor feel like they're bringing their competitive advantage to the table with you, right? You need to do that to through. And so many people don't. So I'm saying, wasting your time, like £50,000 for 10% of the business. I mean, Dragon's Den is such a bad way of learning business. I know a lot of people learn business from shows like Shark Tank. It's a lot. You want them to ask you, I love your business, I think I can add value, how much do you want? You don't even want to sell it. The first thing that they're doing in business are people just telling you what they're doing and what their plan is and how I can add value to them. That's it. You don't talk with money, right? Because the three steps to any sale is I like you and you like me. I need you, you need me.
I've actually snapped the brittle brown here. I dropped the stirs when I was putting them on, and it snapped the brown. So I've got to be careful of that bit.
Too busy just asking for money, don't be dumb. Now, when it comes to selling a business, one thing I did when I first started Fluid is I wrote down all the companies I want to work with. But I also wrote down all the companies I think one day I could merge with, I could buy, I could collaborate with. And I also made sure that those companies were on my mailing list, were involved in my marketing, saw what I did. In fact, for one particular company who I was targeting, I did an ad campaign around their office, actually a billboard around their office, because I knew one day they'd want to work with us. And when they walked outside and saw our billboard, they'd be like, wow, that company is serious. I just did one billboard outside their office. They didn't know that. They thought I did a billboard campaign all across the city. The point is, get some of the people you want to sell to. Make sure they notice you. Make sure the people that you're trying to sell to notice you, right? And in my, Fluid's case, it was 16 years from the time I started it to the time I sold it. I didn't want to sell it even then. But the point is, everybody who could buy me, everybody that I could buy, they knew me. I targeted them, just as I did my clients. Again, selling and raising links. I'm now going to jump back to raising because there's links to this. These people that could buy your company, that could be a partner with you, they're also potentially your investors. Over the years, all the companies I've built, a lot of the clients I've been working with offered to invest. Equally, a lot of my competitors offered to buy. So if you look at history, it will always tell you the future. You look at the history of Tesla. A lot of car companies actually invested in Tesla. Some famous people sat on the board and then went away and did the road to car companies. Right? So there's all sorts of reasons why people do this, and I'm going to go into the legal stuff you need to do later to protect you from that sort of issue. But the point I'm trying to make here is, on the raise side, also connect in every way you can to companies that could invest in you, could acquire you. Some of the best businesses raise money from people who will eventually buy them. I mean, Microsoft has just invested in OpenAI. That's the beginning of a purchase, right? And there's also, from OpenAI's point of view, a partner and a client. What I'm teaching you here is being done in the real world at billion-dollar level scale.
I don't know why I struggled so much building that. It just seemed to really confuse me. Jesus.
Number 3 on the sales side. When it comes to selling a business, one of the most undersold ways of selling a business is a management buyout. I have actually done this a few times. I've let my team buy a company. I actually think this is a really exciting way of also building a company. It's one more option for the people that are working with you to own where they work, which I think is crucial in life. So think about your team and think about bringing in people that can eventually potentially buy your business. So in my previous company, I brought in very high-profile people who worked in the business, but I knew they had the capability of raising the money to go and buy the whole business, and that's what they've done. And want you to know this concept. Also leads to raising money. If you have the right team, most of the time, raising money comes down to who's in it. Most people who are successful in raising money is because they already knew the people they raised money from before, or in their company knew people that raised money from before. So hiring the 13,000 people that got laid off at Airbnb, there'll be people in there that were probably in the early days of Airbnb. I guarantee you the investment firms know them. That's much better than
Put the doors in.
you. So finding team members to help you raise money is a really powerful thing that not many people think about. Hiring the right people so you can raise money is something that just doesn't help me. I just brought someone on board who I know, because they're now part of our team, adds further credibility to what I'm doing, will probably make it easier if we need to raise money later. I'm not sure if we will need to, but the point is, it's a very useful tool to have people on board who can help you do that. Now, the whole other look at selling a company is maybe look to buy the company to buy you. Small fish eats big fish, I guess, is the strategy. And I've seen this play out in interesting ways. Now, there's a slight danger to it. Do not approach a company to buy them unless you're serious about potentially buying them, because you'll hurt your brand. It's morally wrong. But I think that, and I've seen it there, I've invested in a lot of businesses, and the 78 companies that I've invested in, 4 of them actually got an exit by doing this. They looked at a company they were buy, and that company ended up buying them. But I also think it's a great way to grow a business. If you can buy a company that's bigger than you, that maybe doesn't have the same energy as you, doesn't have the same mission as you anymore, they've lost their way, they've lost their soul, it can be quite interesting to buy a company in this way. But I'm assuming you're a small fish buying a big fish. Of course, if you're a big fish, they do that all day long. Google survived today, but big companies like Amazon survive today because they keep eating up the companies that could eat them. These little companies could eat them. They know what happened in the past. You know, Google ate Yellow Pages, Netflix ate Blockbusters. At one point, they were the small fish and they were the big fish. And now they know they better eat up the small fish to stop them becoming the big fish that eats them. But it is interesting to think about, you know, small fish buys big fish. Now you perhaps see why selling a company and raising money for a company are interlinked. Of course, your cap table, the shareholders in your business, will also affect whether or not someone buys you or not. I've seen it play out time and time again where a company will not buy a company, or you can't even list your company because you've got the wrong shareholders in the early days that haven't done their accounts right, for example, or aren't following ethics that match with your clients and your expectations. So make sure you follow your ethics, make sure you're very clear on what your moral code is, and don't let anybody into your business that isn't right, either on the buy side or on the investor side. Okay, next up is legal and accounts. Now, I think it's important in business to, especially if you're giving advice, to know what you're good at and know what you're not good at. I would say that legal accounts, something I've been involved in for 35 years, is not something I'm brilliant at. So what I've asked is the best accountant I know, the best legal advisor I know, the best trademark lawyer I know, to actually put a document together down below in the comments, giving you all the information you need to know. Please, don't be lazy. Go read that stuff. Understand the fundamental importance of this stuff. I'm going to give you a couple of quick pointers before you have to go and read that stuff, right? The first thing I'll say is things like NDAs. NDAs is a non-disclosure agreement. You're going to need things like this to protect you from bad players, people that might steal your idea, that's one type of NDA, or people that might go and share your private information about your business. If you pitched it to them, they could steal it. I'm going to say something to you now that's kind of counterintuitive to the documents that you're going to read down below. This is more like experience on top of legal. My lawyer is my lawyer because he said something that I believe is so true. He said, paper will always accept ink. What that means is, if someone wants to rip you off, they will. If people want to steal your idea, they will. How do you make sure, for example, that someone doesn't steal your idea? Execute. Do the idea. Go fast. Build. Do everything I've just told you to do. An NDA sometimes can cause offence to some people. I don't sign NDAs myself, because you either trust me or you don't. You've done your due diligence on me, as I told you earlier in this video, or you haven't. You know what I like and you don't know what I like. You don't let me in if I'm not the right person. You say no. You're not doing due diligence if you're thinking about doing an NDA. And at the end of the day, there is element of capability to stop doing it. Listen to the people I've lined up that have a lot of experience. Put the documents down below to get all these sure you're ready to execute it so they can't catch you up even if they copy it. That's the best sort of the legal defense you're ever going to have. It's executing better than that. Number 2, accounts. Please get this stuff right. Register your company properly. Make sure you follow all the rules each year. I know the system wants to fuck people up when it comes to business. Please follow it. Do the paperwork correctly, because if you don't do shareholders agreements correctly, if you don't do accounts correctly, then you won't get investors later. You won't be able to sell your company easier later. Just do it properly. Get into a habit. Accounts is just a habit. That's the physical emotional side of accounts. The physical side of accounts, the document down below. The emotional side is every single day, take 10 minutes out, open your receipts, and do things properly. Do not muck around with this stuff. Get it right. Take it seriously. Now, maybe you're an accountant hearing me say this, and you're like, yes, don't worry, son, I'm taking it seriously. But I bet a lot of people that are watching this content on YouTube don't take it seriously enough. I made the mistake of not taking it seriously in the old days, back before the war. And I'm telling you right now that stuff fucked me up. So get it right. The document down below I put together with the best in class to help you do it. Both and number 3, I'm going to say this to you, this final thing. If you speak to a lawyer, they're going to tell you to paint it this and do that, do this, do all these things to protect you. And you should definitely think about all of these things. There's only really one thing that I genuinely believe you need to make sure you do from all this legal stuff, and that's your trademark. I don't own a trademark company, and my trademark lawyer gets more work from me than anybody else in the whole of the UK. It's his last words to me. I am his number 1 client, because I know that is a critical point of failure for your business if you don't do it right. You may have come up with a name sitting around a table and you love it. You might think it's the best name in the world. Someone else owns it, you are fucked. Go trademark your company. It doesn't cost a lot of money. If you don't use a trademark lawyer, it costs about £300 to go register it on a trademark registration in the UK. In the US, it's similar. It's all open. The government systems are run by governments. They're useless, but when it comes to those sorts of things, they actually do it quite well in most countries. Go online, trademark your company name. Ideally in every market you operate. But to keep costs down, at least in the market where you're accepting the money, get your trademark. Do not risk this. This is the one thing in legal I don't muck around with. If I start a business, I own the trademark. Then I can launch, and no one can take the business from you. But if you don't get the trademark, someone else has it. They can do something called passing off. Your business will have to shut down. You'll have to pass all previous profit and income to that brand owner. You're not around this stuff. Get it right. Documents are down below. Good luck, folks. I'm going to go eat some chicken now. I'm bloody hungry. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Defiance in the comments section can be palpable. Don't tell me to niche down. I want to make videos about whatever I want to make. I've got too many interests to niche down. I don't want to get stuck in a niche and then not be able to make videos about anything else. I totally get that. And at no time did I ever suggest that you have to make videos about only one niche. Let's talk about this. And I've got several points I want to make here, so I've written them down on a cue card. If you're new here, hi, my name is Rob. It's very nice to meet you. Thanks for stopping by. And if you're returning, then welcome back. So I make videos, try to convince people, or not convince, I'm not trying to convince people to start YouTube. I make videos to try to encourage people who are already considering starting YouTube channels to start. Okay, I'm kind of documenting my own YouTube journey.
That looks awesome though.
And trying to show you that you can do what I'm doing, right? If you want to, okay? At no time am I suggesting that you have to do this or you have to do it a certain way. But I do give advice. Typically,
I just realised there's a little hole in the house.
asked in the comment section. So one of the popular things you've probably heard over the course of watching YouTube videos is that you have to niche down and run your YouTube channel like it's a business. All right, that's a good idea. It's not for everybody, but if you want to grow a channel fast, then niching down is a good idea, and running it like a business is a good idea. Another thing that I often hear is people saying, "Wow, they're making an awful lot of noise, doing road work down there." I often hear people say, "I don't want to run it like a business. I want to have fun with YouTube." Okay, have fun with YouTube. Do it like a hobby. You don't have to do it like a business at all. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people do it as a hobby. But where the disconnect is, or comes in, is when people want to run it like a hobby, but earn business-like revenue from it. Okay? That's the disconnect. If you want to earn a good chunk of money doing YouTube, then you kind of have to do it with some thought. You can't just go about it all lackadaisical. Is that a word? You have to be intentional with everything that you do in your channel. And that includes picking a niche, or somewhat of a niche, or a couple of related niches, so to speak, okay? But now at the end of this video, I am going to tell you about one way you can do this very successfully without actually picking a specific niche. So there's my hook to get you to watch till the end of the video. So the thing about YouTube is that there's a lot of things to it. There's a lot of moving parts. And there's a lot about it that most people who do YouTube don't know all the answers to. So, including myself, there's a lot of stuff about YouTube that I'm just figuring out as I go. And that's why I like to think of YouTube as like one big experiment, okay? You try new things all the time. And if something works, then do it more. Do it again. If something doesn't work, well then, the video you made or the thing you tried was not a waste of time. Because you've learned something. You've learned that something does not work for you in that moment for that topic, okay? There's a whole bunch of different things. And it's hard to learn any one thing if you change more than one variable. For those scientists out there, you know that the best science experiments would be if you leave a whole bunch of things the same, but just change one thing and see if that affects the outcome. That's almost impossible to do with YouTube, because unless I made the exact same video twice, and maybe I filmed it in two completely different locations, or, on a sunny day and a cloudy day, which day works best, in the woods or in my office, which location works best, exact same video is really the only way to compare that. But, so it is hard, I understand that, but all you can do is the best you can do, and the good news is, every time you make a video, that's another set of data that you're giving YouTube. That's more things you can learn from, okay? Make a video, upload it, intentionally do some things to it, like do some things different to see how it resonates with your audience, all right? And measure the results, measure the click-through rate, watch your average watch time, and all that stuff, all the analytics, right? That'll tell you how well your videos are doing, especially with respect to your video. Okay, so yeah, that's all about running it like a business. Try to figure out what your audience wants to see from you and make videos like that. Try to figure out what your audience needs help with.
No, there's no way it moves like that.
Help them, okay? Those are the types of videos that you can do very well. But I'm getting a little bit off topic. My point is, if you want the most success, or if you want the best chance of success, you do kind of have to do some things like that, like running it like a business. But you don't have to do that, okay? You absolutely
Not many pieces left.
Running YouTube as a hobby is
I'm going to be doing an Eternals review after this.
and that doesn't even mean it
Not
as a
even
hobby
all
and still make good money. You can. It's just that if you want to truly maximize your earnings, then you're going to have to do some things, some intentional things that might be a little bit outside your hobby. So, for example, let's say there's a certain type of video you like to make. All right, you like to make hobby type videos, whatever it is. It's a style you like. It's a style that you find is an easy way for you to make videos. So you kind of get in a groove and you're getting good at making those videos. But if you find that you're not getting the views that you want, okay, so now that's a question about almost like a business question, okay? Because if you're truly doing this as a hobby, then who cares how many views you're getting, right? And that's because when I think hobby, I don't necessarily think revenue. It's like two different things. Again, it doesn't have to be, but that's just the way I think. If it's truly a hobby and you just want to do whatever it is you want to do, and you don't want to take any advice from people like me or from your algorithm, not your algorithm, your analytics even. If you don't want to even look at that ever, and I get that, some people don't. There's a lot of graphs, a lot of math. If you don't like math, then you might not like the analytics. If you don't ever want to look at that, then fine, it's a hobby, and whatever your revenue is going to end up being, it is what it is. And there's really no way to change that without really studying the results that you get. So now let me get back to niche and how to pick the best niche. Again, you do not have to if you don't want to, but for those of you who really do want some solid advice and are struggling with what niche to pick, because I hear this a lot too. I have too many interests. I've got a lot of things I'm interested in. I've lived a long life and I've learned a lot of stuff, and I want to make videos about everything I've learned. And that's cool. That's awesome. But if you really want to niche down, okay, then you have to identify one thing or a set of related things. All right? And when I say you have to, it's if you want to grow your channel. If you want the best chance of success, this is what you do. Think of everything you're good at and everything you're passionate about. Actually, start with passion. Everything you're passionate about. What do you love? What do you love to do that you could talk about for hours to your friends and family? Picture yourself going to, I don't know, a dinner party, campfire, or something, and you're with friends and family. What do you talk about? What do you want to talk about? Whatever you want to talk about, and can talk about for a long time. Maybe it's sports, maybe it's current events, whatever it is. That's a good place to start in terms of your passion. Okay, write it down. And write a bunch of things down, as many things as you can think of that you like to talk about and that you're passionate about. Is it camping? Is it sailing? Is it off-road dirt biking? I don't know. Whatever it is it traveling? Is it
Putting the microphone on charge, sorry about that.
Running, exercising, whatever it is, write it all down. But then also write down things you're good at, okay? And what I mean by that is maybe you pick up some skills in your life. You may not necessarily be passionate about. You might not even think that it's that big of a deal. Like starting a campfire, okay? Not the easiest thing in the world to do for somebody who's never done it, right? But something that you could, make videos about if you wanted to. So other skills you've picked up, maybe it's woodworking. Maybe
it's going to be awesome.
Maybe it's gardening. Whatever it is, write that down, stuff that you're good at. Maybe it has to do with your work. Now, a lot of people, again, get upset at this. I don't want to do anything to do with work because, I've worked 40 years and I want to leave
Be done soon.
Fine, don't write it down. But what I'm thinking of is things like if you're good at computers.
I love the little buildable bird,
videos
proper
like
old
this,
school.
Or
Old school fig.
software that you're good at that perhaps you could demonstrate to other people how to use, right, in YouTube videos. Might not be something you're passionate about.
It even feels old.
Doesn't go very far. But write it all down, and then you can pick from that list.
Give me a minute, I'll start building.
But at this point, before you pick something, what you should do is try to define who your audience is, your ideal audience member, your ideal viewer, okay? Who are you making this video for, or these videos for? Define them, write them down. Are they male, are they female? Maybe it doesn't matter. Are they over 40? Are they 20 or under? Are they retirement age? Are they housewives? Are they office workers? You know, whatever. Try to define who your ideal viewer is, and that'll help you maybe hone in on a niche that you can you know, make your videos about. Okay. Again, this is for people who want to figure out how to come up with their perfect niche. All right, or the best niche for them. But if you just want to know what the best niches are, what niches work best, what niches make the most money, I can give you that list. It's got to do with health and fitness, or like dieting, health, fitness, working out, or making money. Okay, how to make money fast, lots of it. so videos that cover those niches do really well, and they make good money. Typically, if the channel's good, they'll make high RPM. Okay, revenue per 1,000 views tend to be higher for those types of videos. Okay, so that's a very short video for me to tell you that, but that's not what you're here for. Before I tell you what your best niche is, let me tell you my story and how I arrived at making the videos that I make. So 4.5 years ago, I started my YouTube channel, and I really didn't know what my niche was going to be. I knew I had watched the same videos you have. I knew it was a good idea to pick one, and that I would have the best chance at success. And I wanted to do YouTube.
Right, I'm back when we start building again now. Sorry about that.
Interested in it, and I thought I would enjoy it, and I do. But I wanted to make some money with it, so I knew picking a niche was a good idea. But I didn't know what to pick. So what I did was I started off making video. I kind of identified 3 things. So I was a freelancer at the time, so I thought I could make money to tell. I can make videos to tell people how to, or teach people how to.
Such an awesome set. I love building this set.
Okay, that was one thing. I have been an entrepreneur on
It's been so cool.
internet for 25 years. So
Never built a set this old before.
how to make an income.
Except from when I was a kid, obviously, and I can't really remember that.
Making money, that would be a good one. And the other one was YouTube. How to grow a YouTube channel. Now, I knew I couldn't start with that because I hadn't.
I live stream every
but I had been watching so
I won't say every day, every couple of days, every 2-3 days. Sometimes every night, but
lots of guys like that
building different
how
things.
to do this whole YouTube thing.
But since I got this for 20 quid yesterday, I had to stop what I was going to build and start building this.
You know
what I mean?
So I wrote that down.
Kinda makes
as
sense,
one of
doesn't
my niches that I wanted to explore. The other one was
I've got a few older builds as well, you know. I can actually show you if you want.
how to edit videos. Now that I knew how to do very well because that's pretty much how I was doing my freelance work.
Right, I got this for a tenner
So I could
recently.
edit videos. All right, so
Got the
that's what I
set
started.
number on that.
And
7635.
I just thought, okay, I'm going to make videos on all these things. And I think I made one of each of those 4.
Yeah, so expect a live stream building that soon.
I made one of each, and then I noticed that the editing one that I had made was doing better than the other one. So
I've also got this for a tenner.
a couple of years. Now,
7639.
at the rate that I was hoping.
Old
so
set again, like 2012, 13.
I gave it up a couple times. I think I took like an 8-month break and then a 20-month.
Got some really good deals, and
I was very
they're really old.
You know, I started with a bang. I made 9 videos my first month, but then I went like 8 months without making any more. And so, you know, what did I learn? I got half decent at making videos for YouTube for myself. And when I finally started up again, making more video editing videos, I then pivoted to make my first, you know, how to start a YouTube channel video. And it was geared around people over 40 because the people I had been making video editing videos for, that was around Camtasia, was the software. Most of the people who use Camtasia are professionals in the, you know, they're either professors or teachers. They're in the educational field. And most of them are older, in my mind. That's what I figured. So I thought, all right, let's make videos for people over 40. Maybe these people would like, they're already making videos. Maybe they'd like to know how to start their own YouTube channels instead of just making videos at work with Camtasia. So I made that, made a pivot. That did very well. So I continued down that road, making videos encouraging people to grow their own YouTube channels. So that's the condensed version of my story. And the reason I told you that is to try to put your mind at ease that it's not that imperative that you pick your niche right away. You can kind of fall into it later. You just have to get started. But if you ask me what is your best niche, like the absolute best niche for you, and I'm talking to you as if you are over 40, like I am, I'm over 50. So if you're older,
Condition of
like
this
me,
set.
then
Really
you've
good.
probably learned a lot of stuff in your life. All right, you've got life experiences. You've experienced things that and learned lessons from. Okay, whatever they are, your story is unique to you. Okay, and you've probably got lots of stories to tell. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is you can draw from that to make videos to help people similar to you. So what I mean is, if you've gone through some things that you might think they're pretty special or unique to you, maybe they were bad things. Maybe you've experienced, I don't know, a breakup, or loss of a job, or loss of a loved one, or something, and maybe you struggled with it. Maybe you struggled with addiction or things like that. Maybe you're even still going through something. So whether you're still going through it or you've gone through it and come out on the other end, either way, there are people out there who would love to hear from you. Okay, there's people out there who may be a few steps behind you. Maybe they're still going through it.
Sorry, I completely forgot was
that you are going through or have gone through, and they'd love to hear from you. Okay, they would love to watch videos that would help guide them through whatever it is they're going to go through. All right, you can make videos like that, sharing your experiences, the experience that you've gained over the vast number of years you've been around. Again, I'm talking to us older folk here. Those are the types of videos that really resonate with a lot of people, okay? And I'm not just talking about, so with your life experience, if you just want to make a video just kind of like a show and tell type video is the way I refer to them, and just kind of talk about yourself and talk about your own situation and not relate it at all to anybody else, that's not going to work as well. If you want to do that, just for documenting purposes, for instance, maybe it might even make you feel a little bit better, a little bit therapeutic even to do that. That's totally fine. But if you want to reach other people, that is how you grow a channel, if you're interested in doing that. And you can do that by helping people by sharing your life experiences. Okay? Does that make sense? It's a little vague, I understand that, but see, everybody's life is different. Everybody's gone through different things. So there's no real way to kind of nail it down, but that would be the ideal niche for you. Incorporate your own story in it. So a niche that is based on your own story, and when you make videos, you can share as little or as much as you want about your story. Okay, whatever is relevant, I suppose. Privacy is a concern. There may be things you don't want to share, and that's fine. It's totally fine. You don't have to. But every time you do share something about yourself in a video like that, it is so appreciated by people, because people are out there wanting.
That is awesome.
They're wanting
Check that
to
out.
watch authentic videos. They want to watch real people talk about real issues, real life. And if you can do that and open up and help people through things, they will be forever grateful. They will subscribe. They will comment, right? They'll like. You'll gain super fans.
Yeah, big fan of that window.
And then you can just keep.
Best Lego window I've built.
Every video can feed off itself. You can get into live streams. You can advertise your live streams from your videos and vice versa. Take it as far as you want. But now we're getting back into kind of turning it into a business, right? Again, don't have to do that. But if you want to really make a good go at YouTube and be really successful, give yourself the best chance at success, then you do kind of have to treat it like a business. I know that's the ugly B word. People don't necessarily want to hear that. It is very rare somebody to start a YouTube channel and not treat it kind of seriously and make it into a huge success. That doesn't usually happen. Usually successful channels are successful because there was some functionality behind
Oh, sugar.
the videos they made and the topics they made the
That
videos
was
on.
not supposed to happen.
Right? So, food for thought. Sorry, I think this video is long enough. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Be nice. Again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
I'm always dropping stuff. 100 grand Lego room, we'll see. What's going on? Let's put it on.
But for now it's fine there rather than trying squeezing it in the side. And to be honest, I'd probably be more likely to try and magnet it to the wall or attach it to the wooden frame we've got back there rather than try and squeeze it down into the gap. But it's fine on the
Thanks for watching the live anyway. It's nearly finished now, this.
I've ordered some USB things, so we're going to have it lit today. But what we have got is these two boards in, and these are boards that are actually actually going to be here because these are exactly the same length. That one is slightly wider than this one. We have another one exactly the same as that one that can go on the end of it, and then the rest of it is where we need to get a little bit mix and match with different widths and things, which is what I'm going to need mat for. But this end is not going to need to change. So I've taped it in provisionally. I'm going to get the raised platform on at that end, which I think at the moment my plan is to not cut the wood. We'll see how big it is. We might change our minds on that. But get the raised platform in. And then once that's in, everything that's going to be on the raised platform, so the big stuff in particular, can go up there and get out of the way, which is going to give us a little bit more room to work with so that we can get the rest of the room rearranged, because
that just sits there, I'm presuming.
Get the wood on so we know exactly where we need to cut, and these two tables that are kind of just floating at the moment will be coming on to the end of this as well. So we need a little bit of extra table on the end there, which I actually think is probably going to be cut, and it'll be in the middle, so we have the two long pieces.
It's just like a little barbecue.
Is the plan, I think. But regardless of what happens, these two pieces of wood don't need to move ever again. Never, ever again. So I am going to find where I've hidden all my legs, which I think are under here somewhere. There we are. We're going to grab the legs. We're going to use a lot of them, because remember, one of the motivations behind the entire redesign in the first place was this literal same piece of board that I'm putting back on was starting to bow because there was too much weight on it and not enough support. So I've got about 30 of these legs, and it's the only raised platform we need. So if I don't use them on this, I'm going to have to store them somewhere. So I may as well put a lot of legs on, just making sure I leave space for the train track to come through. But that's the job now. Get a raised platform on. Lovely stuff. Oh, and by the way, that's how much clearance we've got on each side from the tables. And actually, the ones that aren't these, we've only got, I think, 3 of these double width tables. The smaller tables we can pull apart a little bit and have the gap in the middle as well, so we can adjust that when we're making final adjustments. But yeah, I like the way they ended it. Let's get the raised platform on. As much as I want to maintain my reputation as a botching numbskull who just makes things up and gets things wrong, what you saw me do at the start there is actually measure where the train track is going to go, so I don't put legs in the way of where the train track is going to be. When I'm adding train track in a few videos,
What an awesome set that is.
Doesn't fit. I did measure. Oh, look at it. It's like it was made specifically for this layout. Let's go and inspect. It fits absolutely perfectly, even to the point where the legs fit down onto the table, but that is rock solid. There is no movement on that. Every leg, they're adjustable height legs, so every leg making full contact. I've tried the spirit level on it, and it's completely level front to back and side to side, and I think I'm brave enough to put my most expensive Lego sets on it right now, even without Matt the grown-up checking it. So I think in order to start getting stuff out of the way, we're going to get our city skyline up where it's planned to be. So that's the Avengers Tower, the Haunted House, the Daily Bugle, the Town Hall, all the really tall stuff is going to be going on the end there at the top with a row of road in front of it. I think long term we are going to take train track off of it. We're not putting any train track on it for now, but I have got all of the train track bridge stuff that I got from Trix Bricks a little while ago that gives me the option to either run like a monorail or even run a train that goes from there down to street level. But we're not worrying about trains now, we're just moving Lego. So I am going to get some Lego on the back there.
I've just realised I put the doors in the wrong way.
Potentially, anything that's on these two pieces of wood here, we could place. We could get a lot of that bulk out of the way. I've just had a text from
That's not that much of an issue.
tomorrow evening after work. So if I can get as much done before then.
Oh, I'd much prefer if that fish stuck on the set.
Slice the 2 bits of wood that need slicing and leave me to it. We could genuinely, by the end of this week, have a layout again. Wouldn't that be nice? I'd love to have a layout again.
Oh, sugar.
Right, I'm moving some Lego. I'm just hoping. I do have one fear with the new layout, and hopefully it's an unfounded fear. But where we've had Lego placed on a back edge before, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to do the raised platform, rather than just having it run to the edge of the wood and then drop. But obviously I'm putting a lot of big, expensive sets on the back here. There's no wall behind it anymore. If they slip back or tip or get a big shake and wobble and fall, they're just falling off. That is just a sheet. And it's a big open gap behind them. There's nothing there to stop them falling off, whereas in the past they would have just banged into the wall. Like I say, it's one of the reasons why I wanted the raised platform there, because I'm less likely to, from this end, stumble into the table, knock the whole thing and knock them off, because we've got that little bit of separation from being on there. There's a lot of clearance.
Oh, I can't get to the door and it needs to go on.
The edge of the table, so the chances of the platform sliding off the back and falling are slim but never zero, so we are going to have to monitor that as time goes on to make sure this doesn't creep back and back and back and eventually fall. But yeah, I think that's just my irrational, autistic mind panicking about every potential disaster scenario, and I think we're probably going to be okay. Crossing fingers. Let's move some Lego.
This might be the most productive day I've ever had in the Lego City. I did not expect to be at the point where I was moving Lego in this video, but as you can see, we are moving
Come
Lego,
on.
and we have a skyline at the back there that's starting to take shape.
He's done
One
it.
placement is permanent just yet, but there we have an example of what I've been trying to describe to you all along. So we have our row of modular buildings at the back there. The only row of modulars like that will be in the entire city now. No more just modulars in a row, shelf city kind of stuff. So we'll have road plate and stuff in front of them, and then limited retaining walls. We'll have trains that go underneath, 2 train tracks, and in the middle here is going to be the proper downtown area of the city.
Is that it?
Which I can probably get the majority of the buildings into the shape
And I
for
think
now.
that is
Obviously,
it,
we can't go
everyone.
as far as where this piece of wood goes, but if we can free up as much of that end as possible,
That is the
in
set.
half hour or so I've got
Complete.
before I have to leave today, that sets us up very nicely from that coming tomorrow, and then I can finish things off. And I am looking forward to things being finished off. It's very exciting.
And this next time lapse is very much split in two. This first half, as you can see, I'm very carefully following my plan, putting out roads,